Welcome to Ready Set RC, and today we have the Losi 1/18 scale mini LMT son of a digger ready to run monster truck. This is a four-wheel drive mini LMT. If you guys are familiar with the LMT that Losi dropped a couple years back, and I've had mine on the channel for quite some bit. It's listed at 1/10. It's probably more like a 1/8 scale monster truck. This is the 1/18 version of it. Pretty much scaled down, and we'll go through it. This has a fully licensed body. The tires are even licensed on here. It is a solid axle monster truck, and it also has LEDs in it. But here we are, guys, with the son of a digger. Let's get it out the box, see what it's all about. I wanted to show you guys something that I noticed. There's a QC sticker that is on this now, and it looks like it's on there twice. The first time it was on there and it was cut, and then the second one was put on just to kind of tell me that it passed QC. Good to see these on here. I can't recall if I've seen them on other Losi products prior to this, but it's good to see that it's front and center, letting me know that someone has actually opened the box and checked this thing out. Guys, that looks impressive. I like the background. I like everything about it. This is locked in with zip ties. We're gonna get the zip ties snapped and get this thing out. But let's go through the other stuff that comes in the box. First off, you're gonna get your USB charger. This is to charge the LiPo battery that comes with the truck. I don't know how well that's gonna show up on the camera, but you have a EC2 to IC2 connect, a Losi sticker, 4 AA's for the transmitter. And it looks like you get a Ryan Anderson trading card. This is kind of cool. T-wrench. And it looks like you get a QR code, more so just talking about the smart technology and Spectrum product. That's kind of cool. They're giving you a connector guide. I don't believe I've seen this either with the Losi RCs prior to this, or Horizon Hobby products to this. So it just gives you an overview of the various kind of connectors there are out there. And it's kind of nice that they're providing this to you. Gives you a little bit more education on it. The aluminum parts that are available for the mini LMT. Cool little poster on the back side. And then you get a pretty thick manual, guys. Go through this when you get a chance. There's also a QR code down here. I won't be covering this on the channel, but yeah, feel free, check it out when you have some time. For the transmitter, we've seen this before. This is the SLT2. Fits nice and ergonomically in the hands. I'm kind of surprised that they did not put a QR code on the top of it, because they've done that with the other ones out there. But it's pretty straightforward. You get your steering dual rate, your steering trim, throttle, and steering. Power switch on the back side, 50, 75, and 100 throttle limiter. And then your steering reverse over here. As I said, it's a very basic controller. Batteries go down below. Wow, I am thoroughly impressed with the son of a digger. This thing feels really good. It has a good weight in the hands. Well, at least on the full-size Losi LMT, you have body pins that lock it in the front and another set that lock it on the sides. This does not. Let me see. This is how you're getting the body off. There's these little twist knobs here, and one on each side right here. And once you do that, the body's going to hinge up. I want to see how many RCs we see for 2024 that start to get rid of body pins, because it's about time. Now, the cage underneath is going to be a composite cage similar to what we saw in the LMT. Everything else is a Lexan body to it. The LEDs running for the front, running along and back to the ESC down below. It has a wheelie bar very similar to the full-size LMT. The chassis is metal and it's powder coated. So this is not a plastic chassis. This is a powder coated metal chassis that we got on the mini LMT. And it's 1.5 millimeters thickness, and it's a 6061 T6 aluminum. The axles on this are composite, but they have metal differentials going on. And that's not just for the front, but that's also for the rear. Telescopic drive shafts in the front and the rear. Those are composite, but the yokes on them are metal. 4-link in the front and 4-link in the rear. These are all metal links with composite rod ends. I just can't stress how well this thing looks. Ball bearings throughout this entire RC. There's a sway bar in the front and also in the rear of this RC too. The shocks are composite, but they are oil filled and they are screw down adjustable. These tires are licensed BKT tires. They feel real soft and tacky. The tread feels really good. And there is a very soft foam insert inside of these tires. The receiver is a 2-in-1 receiver. It's 25 amps and it's brushed. The servo is metal geared. It is model number SX108, 25 turn 380 brushed motor. The overall length is 10.9 inches or 277 millimeters. The overall width is 8.1 inches or 206 millimeters. The weight is 1.8 pounds or 0.84 kilograms. And the wheelbase is 6.8 inches or 1.73 millimeters. The gear pitch on this is 0.5 mod. Then we have a 32 tooth idle gear and a 32 tooth bottom gear installed. A 15 tooth pinion. Battery, it's already in the truck. Let's try to get this thing out. It has these rubber straps. You pull the tabs, pull it out, and then you remove the battery. The battery is a 2S 50C 810 mAh. I want you guys to take notice of the 50C and 810 mAh. You'll need a second pack of this if you're trying to really run this truck hard. Because I will say that I run this pack on my Losi Mini B that I've converted over to brushless. This makes a world of difference. Do not buy the 30C pack if you're going to buy a second pack for this. Buy the 50C packs. They're worth it. And it has an IC2 connector coming off. All of the steering links and everything that's on here, this is all composite. And the wheelie bar has actually 2 positions on here to make an adjustment. So you can lower this wheelie bar just a little bit. From what I can notice here, guys, the diffs in the front and the rear, they're open. But what it does have is, looks like it has a lock diff in the center because I can't push it. So just take note that the front and rear are open diffs. Next up, I'm gonna get this pack charged up and get this thing in the dirt. That's a couple of 50%. Not bad. Let's kick it up to 70. Struggles first. That's my set. Oh yeah, a cold day. Hardcore enthusiasts. Maybe some guys want to go ahead and mod this thing to death. You guys are just going to have to determine if it's worth it. introduction to the LMT. In the studio with the Losi LMT Mini, and wanted to give you guys my first thoughts on it. So I drove this indoors before taking it outdoors, especially with 100% throttle on the controller. I thought it was really quick indoors, on carpet, that's kind of high traction, everything else. Didn't drive this on asphalt or anything else. And then you saw the running video of it on the dirt. On the dirt at 100%, I think it was lacking a little bit, like it needed a little bit more. In the beginning of that video, I am driving it at 50%, then I bumped it up to 75, and then the remainder of the video, which is probably the large chunk of the video, is in 100%. I thought it probably could do with a bump in power. And that was the only thing that I saw that was a little bit lacking on it. This thing is remarkable for how it lands back on its wheels after the jumps. I didn't have to turn it over that much. The only time I had to turn this over is when I was doing the backflips. And the backflips, you know, sometimes it was landing, sometimes it wasn't landing. But when I hit the ramp, just launched it, it would land on all wheels most of the time, if not all of the time. I didn't have any brakes. The lenses stayed in. The grill is on there nice and tight. The servo on this, I thought it's pretty good, guys. I would not swap out the servo on this. I think it's fast enough for this application. Now, if you plan on going ballistic speed on this, maybe at that point you want to upgrade the servo, but I thought for what it looks like now, it's really good. Now, what are my plans going forward? Now, I'm not going to throw a bunch of hop-ups on this that are unnecessary right now at this point. I think the first thing I want to address is I definitely want to up the speed a little bit. And since this has a throttle limiter on there, I'm going to bump this up to the maximum pinion it can handle. And then once I do that, I'll control it with the throttle limiter on there. But upping the pinion is kind of what I want to do as a first step and then see how it goes. There are a lot of hop-ups for this, guys. GPM is making hop-ups. Trill is making hop-ups. Losi has their hop-ups available. There's a lot on there. So if you guys who just want to make this a shelf queen, make it all nice and pretty, you can do that. It's there. Now, I was talking on the video, I'm not sure how much of it actually came through versus how much of it was just unable to be heard. But who's this truck for? It was one of the things that I touched on in the video. And this was during the running video I talked about this. So I don't think this is going to be for the noob. I don't think this is going to be for the guy that wants to buy like an Amazon special or maybe an upgrade from the Amazon special. I think what this is going to be for either your purists or for your hobbyists. And it's going to be for the guys who did buy the LMT. The guys who are really into Monster Jam or monster trucks. You know, someone who's looking for something that's not going to be an all-out basher, but looking for something to do some of those Monster Jam tricks. This is what that truck is going to be for. You know, yes, the price tag is up there for a vehicle for its size, but I think for the Monster Jam loyalists and for the purists and the hobby enthusiasts, that's not going to be much for this when you see the quality of the products that go into it. For me, I bought the LMT, so I think that answers if I would buy this again or if I thought there was value in this, because I truly do. I truly do feel there's value in this little truck. I'd have to see what the durability is going to be like. It's the cold months now. I usually don't like to beat on my trucks in the cold months, but I thought this one took what I gave to it pretty well. It was a cold day when I was pushing it out. It wasn't even 40 degrees. It was 38 degrees, and you factor the wind in there. It was probably feeling more like freezing. This is a solid offering from Losi, worth the look if you fall in those buckets that I mentioned earlier. But we're gonna leave it here. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok for the latest updates to the channel. This is Ready Set RC, signing out. Thanks again, guys.